Yeah, you see texting, right? We're lucky, this generation, we're lucky today because texting today is so much better than texting back in the day. Back when I was younger, right? And if you were born in the 80s, let me know if you were born in the 80s in the box below, and let me know if you weren't born in the 80s. But around, obviously not early 80s, 'cause I was still too young there, but in let's say late 90s, early 2000, we didn't have the technology that we've got today. Let me explain. There was no WhatsApp. We didn't have WhatsApp. We didn't have video call. You couldn't just get your phone out and then get a number of someone you're dating, or go online and go to WhatsApp and do a video call. We couldn't do that back in the day. The only texting you could do was on a mobile phone, and there weren't even at one point you couldn't even do emojis, if that's the right word. You couldn't, you'd have to kind of make it up with the dots. So the texting was really basic, and it was hard back in the day because of that lack of social tools and technology. And you couldn't send a voice message, and that's one of the massive technological changes which I found it really helpful, because when you're texting a girl that you like, that maybe you've met the first time, she doesn't know you that very well, so obviously you can't always get your personality across in writing. Sometimes you can do it if you're a very good writer, right? And not everyone is an expert writer, right? If you're a writer, if that's your profession, writers have got that skill where they can write and create emotions in the writing. They can kind of show their personality and make a person feel good or get their personality across. But for the average Joe who just does a basic level of writing and texting, it's not always easy to create those emotions, to create that genuine love or interest, or if you're flirting with each other. So with today, you can send a voice note, and it's so much more powerful, someone hearing your voice. It's a lot more intimate. It's a lot more emotional. And another thing that you can send, which we couldn't send back in the day, you can send pictures. So you can send a girl a picture of you with your family. You can build a lot of trust that way. If when you first meet someone, if a girl doesn't trust you, or you don't know each other, she can send you a picture of her with her friend. You can build that rapport. You can show a lot more of your life and your personality. You can take a picture of art that you've done, or you at work, or so there's so much more you can do now with texting. Texting today, in this new modern generation with the computers and the technological advancement and how sophisticated it is, you can do so much. You can pretty much, in some ways, you can actually create an instant date right now. If you do a video call, which I've done, which has been really helpful, and a girl agrees to it, you both agree to come on a call, and you can obviously see each other, well, that's quite close to a date. The next thing's in person. So we couldn't do this back in the day. As I said, the only thing you could do was send a text message in writing, and we didn't even have the technology. You didn't even know if the person's seen the message. So back in the day, there was a lot of gameplay, and that's how I didn't agree with it, but that's how it was back then. Women were being told, make a man wait 2 days. So you text a girl, you wouldn't hear nothing for 2 days, and it'll be killing you in that time, because you're obviously worried, does she like me? Why is she not texting back? And you're kind of checking your phone all the time, where the generation today, everything's click of a button, everything's so much faster. We date different, we text very different. So you can see now, if I go online, I can see on WhatsApp if someone has looked at my message. I know that they've read it. Back in the day, we didn't have that. So you didn't even know if your message went through. You didn't know if the girl had seen it, and you were worried about that. So that is one of the positive things. Obviously, people are always going to complain. I'm going to complain to a certain extent that certain things have changed that we're not happy with today with the technology. There's things that I don't like, and I'll do another video on that. But I have to say, texting today with all of the WhatsApps and the Instagrams and the Facebooks, all these different mediums. Now you don't even need your phone to text. You can arrange a date through your Instagram. You know, most of it now, most of my texting done through WhatsApp. So the texting bit on the phone is kind of dying out. And the crazy thing is, what I realise, back in the day, texting weren't free. And when we were younger, well, I grew up, a lot of the time we didn't always have money, we didn't always have a job, we didn't always have credit on your phone, we didn't have, you know, contracts were still quite rare then. Most people, unless you had a wealthy family or money or you had a regular job, most people had pay as you go. That's what I had. So you had to pay, like, you know, get a £5 pay as you go top up, and that would only last a couple of days. If you were speaking a lot, that could go in one day. And a £5 top up would probably go in 1 hour of speaking. So you had to, like, be careful with your credit so it didn't run out. And every text message, I don't know why it's making me laugh. Every text message was like 10p, 20p, and that adds up. Where today you go on WhatsApp and it's free. You can send as many messages as you want. Text messages, you can send voice notes, you can do a video call, you can send pictures. So, you know, that you can't really say that texting today is harder, because in my experience it really isn't. It's a lot easier. Like, my success rate, if I look at my success rate now to back then, it's so much better now with actually being able to actually get on the date, or, you know, or to have a conversation with a girl that you like, and even with friends. So it has totally changed the dynamics of conversations. And when it first came out, everyone was a bit like, I was a bit like that. It did feel a bit weird to send a voice note. It felt almost like you don't want to come across creepy. But now everyone does it. It's become the norm. It's become fun to go, hey, how you doing? And then that's it. Then they can hear the message. Then they can drop you a voice note, and it does show confidence. Girls will, you know, obviously they're going to think a guy's more confident if he can send a voice message, or even today you can send a video message. Like, I can record this video that I'm doing now, and I can send this whole video to you, and you can get to see me in video form, and that shows way more confidence than me just sending you a written message. So I'm just fascinated by that. Today I wanted to make a video and see what you guys and girls' thoughts are on how messaging has totally changed in the last, 15 years? How old am I? 30? I'm not 35, 37. So let's go back now. Take away 17 to 20. Yeah, in the last 18, 20 years, texting's completely changed because of the internet, you know, and it's going to keep changing. But yeah, now it's, you know, back in the day, you couldn't get hold of people instantly. You had to be mindful, oh, I better not text them when they're at work because it might disturb them, or they might be at uni, or so that there was, you know, you were much more conscious of, you know, when you were going to send a message and how you were going to say it and how you were going to write. And as I said, I back in the day, I remember we couldn't even do like smiley faces, and LOL wasn't even out then. That's how old back it was. So I have been thinking about that and reminiscing, because I have got questions over the years, people asking me about texting, and I think at some point everyone struggled with texting. I did, and I've really improved over the years, but I think a lot of it has been because of the technological advancement. Because, you know, for me, it just gets boring sometimes if you're just sending, you know, written words. It's a lot more fun for me to send a picture, you know, to a girl or a girl I'm dating of where I've been out, and I like sending voice notes because, you know, a lot of girls apparently have said that they like my voice. I've got a nice voice, and I think for a lot of you it'd be the same. If a girl likes you, she'll like your voice, she'll like to hear us, and I like to hear a girl's voice. So it's very nice when I've had a lot of girls when I've been dating who have sent me like several messages, and it's nice. I look forward to reading it, where they've sent me a picture of them doing something, and then they've sent me a couple of voice notes, and it's nice. You know, you're excited to click on the voice note. Obviously, if you don't like the person, then that's a different story. But it has got much better. When I think about it, you know, even the way we talk to our family, like I've spoke to my family on video call, WhatsApp. I never imagined my parents doing that with me. So even our parents' generation, not even my generation, your generation, if you were born in the 80s, they've changed now. They've become accustomed, or a lot of them are, and everyone's got it on their phone now. You know, you've only got to go on your phone, and you've got all these different applications, where you can message a girl in different ways, picture messaging, voice notes, or if you do send a written message, you can use all these fancy emojis, and your message can be in colour. So it has got much better. So that's all I wanted to say on the matter. I was just wondering what everyone's thoughts are. Have you had this same, realization that I've had? I think a lot of time in lockdown, giving me time to think about things and realize, because when technological things change, we don't often notice them because it's so gradual. It happens slowly, and then after 5-10 years, you look back and go, I can't believe we used to watch, VHS tapes and CDs. Now pretty much everything's live stream, streaming, YouTube, or Netflix. So yeah, it has changed a lot in it, and it has that change has been a positive, but there are some changes that I think have been a negative, and I'll do another video on that. So let me know if your thoughts below in the box. And I know for some of you, you've asked me, a lot of people are nervous about recording a voice note, but I don't have that fear, because I think years of practicing, obviously I used to, but now I've gotten used to it, and the more you practice it, the easier it gets. So I think that's obviously coming to terms of not being embarrassed or ashamed of hearing your own voice, liking your own voice, and having the confidence to send a voice message and then get used to it. And if the person, whether it's a girl you're dating or if it's a friend or whatever, if it's business or work, but I think most businesses are doing that now. Most people are catching on. But yeah, I wanted to make a video right now before it becomes not relevant. If I made this video maybe in another 5 years, people will just be like, yeah, we've been doing that for ages. But I just think now just feels like the right time. So become fearless, bit of education there, and obviously it might give you the confidence to send better messages, because a lot of guys, it's not that they're not good enough, they fail because they don't know how to communicate their personality for a written message. And the girl might have met you in person, really liked you, liked your personality, but when you messaged her, she got, what's this guy? This is not the same guy I met, or why did he say that? Or maybe the energy come across, you were meant to be positive, but she receives it in a negative way. And that's unfortunate, and that's a shame, because if only you'd been able to adjust your message, make it more honest, more congruent, more socially intelligent, she would have responded well, because your message would have it would have represented your personality within the writing, if that makes sense. And I think that's the big challenge that a lot of men have had, and women as well, where sometimes we struggle to communicate who we are through a written message. We can do it in person, most people can do that, right? But when you're in a situation where you haven't got that energy in person, you can't use vibration, emotion, in terms of when someone's energetically in person, where there's eye contact, there's subconscious communication, there's energy, there's all those positive things. But when you're in a message, you can't always create those things. Not everyone can do it. Not everyone can show the best side of their personality through writing. So the new technology has enabled people to do that, all right? Become fearless, that's it.